Our goal today was to be more confident, to feel more comfortable. Do you feel like we got there?
I definitely feel like that, yeah.
Yes, look at you.
Hi.
Hi.
So, super excited for you today. What's going to happen is we're going to, at the end of this all, I want you to leave with some sort of inspiration, a little sprinkle of confidence, and a bit of how-tos as well. Let's start with where is your relationship with photos of you and just camera being in front of you?
Right now, I don't feel great about a lot of like even the professional photos that I take. Like between like the last photo I took confidently and the photo before that, that was probably about like a year or two. That I felt like, yeah, I feel awesome about this photo, how I look in this. I'm a performer too. I'm both a music teacher and I do opera as well. And you have to do headshots for a lot of that. And even with the professional grade like headshots that I would take, I'm just like, I'm not really into how I look. I don't feel great about how my body feels like in photos, especially like this up. I'm like, yeah, sure, I can probably take a photo any day and I'll feel fine. But then like if it's like a full body one, I'm just like, oh, I hate this. I hate how I look.
So it's mostly, you feel like most of your pain points is in like full body photos.
Yeah. I think that's a good assessment.
How about like photos for yourself casually, whether it's selfies or going out with friends, partners, family? What is that relationship like?
I'm usually the one taking photos of other people. I don't really take photos of myself in that situation. And when I do, it's just kind of like those really crappy, like I'm at the head of the table. And so you only see my face and everyone else is behind me or that kind of thing.
Right. When you're taking photos of others, is that because they've initiated and you become like the select photographer every time, the default one, or is that you sort of initiating that and saying, hey, let me take photos of you because you're looking?
I usually initiate that because it's just like that's what I would want, especially with like the recent passing of like my father. It's just like I want photos of my friends at this stage in their life, at this other stage of their life. I want constant photos. I don't want to be searching desperately looking for photos for like to hold on to for memories. I want photos of right now, even if you quote unquote hate how you look. Even though you hate how you look, this is who you are on the daily basis that I love. And I want to see that.
After you take the photo, do you ever ask to have your photo taken?
I feel weird about it. And in the past, no, but I'm starting to do that more and more. I'm just like, hey, take my photo too. I'm getting more confident of like asking for those photos too in return.
Right. So inside, you want your photos taken.
Yeah.
Because I mean, judging by today, you have beautiful makeup, beautiful outfits. You're in a feel good, look good moment. You want to have your photos taken. You've sort of overcome the barrier of like it feels weird. Recently, you've been a little bit more open to asking your friend to take photos of you as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
How is that experience?
I get used to. I think after a while, other people, because they notice that I do that for them so often, they're like, absolutely, I'll do that for you,
Right.
But like, even when I ask them and I get the photo back, I'm just like, I don't like how I look in this photo, despite how good I feel. And despite knowing that I look good, I'm just like, I don't like how I look in this photo.
Right. So you look good. Like we talked about, you're in that feel good, look good. It just isn't you feel like the photo doesn't reflect that.
Yeah.
Can I see some of these photos? I feel like I'd want to see some references. I would love to see standard photo that either Brandon or Sam has taken for you that you feel like best reflects their typical photo that they produce for you that you're not the biggest fan of. Now, I would also love to see a photo that you absolutely love of yourself.
Or start with the one that Brandon took of me the other day. We're in this little garden, not garden, but like it's this like Van Gogh museum and it had like all these sunflowers. It's very pretty.
Did you ask for the photo?
I did.
At that point?
I did ask for that because I noticed throughout the day I was taking so many photos of like him and stuff, and I'm making him do all these things. And then I was finally like, there's not a level of reciprocity that I wanted. And so I was like, hey, can you take my photo in this? And then he did. And I was like, it's okay. It's an okay photo, you know?
Right.
These next two are the ones that I was thinking of for like, these are the ones that I felt really confident in. The one with the brown jacket was the most recent one. And then the one before it in the black dress is the last photo I felt confident in before that, which was months apart.
I want to hear again what goes through your mind when you see both, I guess, the two categories, the ones that you're not the one that you're not the biggest fan of, the Van Gogh one, and then the two photos that you do like. I guess let's start with the Van Gogh one.
Yeah.
Instantly, what does your eye see? Where does your eye gravitate towards?
I think just the posture and angle of like my posture and how I like kind of posed myself and the angle in which I was like, the photo was also taken. It's just like, it's not, it kind of makes my like chin and neck kind of collapse into one thing, which I hated. And then also like, if you talk about angles in your videos a lot, and right now it's just kind of like a J with how I was standing. It's just a giant slope instead of like a sharp angle. And that one kind of
you. You're like, you really learned to like analyze it like the way I do, huh?
Yeah, and like my brain kind of works like that too. Generally, it's just like I always say I have an artist eye. I don't have an artist like capabilities. So
any other things that you see that you're like, ooh, just like pinpointing your eyes?
I look uncomfortable because going back in that photo, it's just like I'm asking someone that I've dated for only a little bit to take my photo, and it feels gross to ask someone to do that. And you can I can see that I feel that anxiety and that kind of like, this is weird in my face and my eyes. I feel like I can see that. I might be reading into that, but you know, I just didn't feel confident in that moment, and I feel like you can see that.
So there's a part of the feeling you're remembering how you're feeling, and you feel like you're seeing that come through now as like a viewer of that photo too. Perfect. Okay, let's move on to the photos that you do like of yourself. Starting with the black dress one.
Yeah.
What do you see there?
I mean, I feel like there is like, again, it kind of goes back to the shapes of the way that like I had my shoulders back, and like it's, even though it's not the sharp angle of like, you know, creating another like shape with like your arms, it's like, it still has it has a more soft look that I liked, but also having those like structured in the way that like I carried my arms. I like that structure there, that there was still, it's hard to, in my opinion, to like have a lot of structure in a lot of flowing black. As a performer, concert black is something you constantly wear, and so it just kind of becomes a blasé thing. But like that dress was just like, it was form fitting, which helped with the angles and creating shape, I think.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And plus, I just felt confident. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like the exact opposite of the Van Gogh photo, where you were saying, you know, you felt a little uncomfortable, so perhaps that came through, and that's what you're seeing. And vice versa on this one, you felt really confident taking that photo, and then perhaps that also came through, sort of like manifested through, right?
Right. Yeah.
The closer up shot with the brown outer layer. Tell me more about that one too.
That one, it was just a beautiful day. It was after a very successful like choir concert that I performed in. I worked really hard on that makeup. I was just like, and my hair was doing just the right thing because I showered and then I put it in a clip and it looked curly, even though I didn't curl it.
Lovely.
Better.
Yeah.
I felt great. It was a great day. You know, I finished a great concert. I was outside with Brandon, and it was beautiful, and I felt beautiful.
Who took that photo?
Me.
A selfie. Gorgeous.
Thank you.
When you take photos of you, how confident are you with those photos? On a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10, on average, I would say like 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Which isn't terrible, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a passing grade right there. Tell me about the 6 or 7. Why did you place yourself at 6 or 7?
Because there are days where I'll feel like I look great, right? And then I still take a photo and it's not the best.
Mm.
I don't feel the best, It's just like, and I know part of it's like mental, but even though I feel great, I know I look great, but I'm just looking at this photo, I'm like, there's something off and I don't know what it is, but
Right.
and I don't like it.
Right. When it comes to like what you want to show off in photos, what are the things that you do like highlighting for yourself? And what are also the things that you wouldn't want to highlight?
Like physically, I think a lot of the things I'm just like, just look at my face. Don't look at anything below here. I hate how I personally don't like how my body looks. I'm trying not to use the word hate, positive speech patterns. But but it's just like, I personally just struggle with appreciating the way that my body looks on its own. So that's why in that photo, in that selfie, it's typically the dress one is honestly, that's the left field for me. I never take a selfie like that. It's usually always like from right now where the camera's at, from like this is the cut. This is usually the most a selfie would have.
Yeah. So that one was a big win for you then.
Yeah, it was a big move. Like I never felt that like confident in a photo in a long time.
What would make this super successful today? If there are a couple tangible things that you can leave with today, like what would make your selfie skill rating go from 6 to 7 to like 8 to 9? And what would make you feel a lot more confident, comfortable going into these quick little impromptu shoots with Brandon and Sam?
I think just knowing how like on a plus size figure, how to pose like the entire body. Because like some parts of like, and it's hard for me to believe, and I don't want to like, this is not a diss on you at all. It's just like, sometimes I look at the poses that you or other photographers give and I'm like, does that work on my body? Would that work on me? A lot of times, it's kind of like clothes. Just like these clothes look great on them, but would this look great on a plus size body?
Of course.
And it's just like, I feel the same. Like, I don't know if it's the same or not for like, for posing and that kind of thing. And just having those in my back pocket. Cause usually in a group photo, my go-to is just like, one arm out just to put, like, that's it. That's all I would do.
Is that your go-to pose?
It is, because a photographer told me to do it back in 2014 when my sister got married.
Can I see the go-to pose from like a little bit further back?
Yeah, sure. It's so awkward. And usually I like kind of stand like this,
Look at you. Look at that.
Generally, I do stand like this, but it's just, it feels weird and awkward inside. Don't tell my mom I'm wearing shoes. She's going to kill me in the house. But like,
it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause. When you do that pose, and when I'm sure you've seen like many photos of yourself in that go-to pose, how does that pose make you feel? Like in the photos, what do you like? Have you liked those photos?
I mean, they're in a group setting is usually when I do that for the most part. And I'm just like, it gets the job done. That's how I feel about that pose. Just like, I don't look terrible. I look good enough.
Right. But at this point, it's been like overused maybe. You feel like you're not creatively sort of expressing the way you want to. You're kind of stuck in that one pose.
Yeah, like literally the other day at my cousin's wedding, my uncle's like, we know that's your pose, Emily, right there. And I'm like, I hate you. You're right, but I hate you.
He called you out for it. No.
I know. I was just, and then like, like in these giant Asian families, once one person goes, they all start going. And I'm like,
wildfire. Goodness sakes. Okay. I think I have the perfect exercise for you, and we're going to do this together. Okay, we're going to go through like a little routine. So the big thing that I always like to give to everyone, I kind of put it in an analogy of not giving you like a bucket of fish, the fish being a pose, right? I'd much rather teach you how to pose. Right. Because we are all on a different journey, right? Whether that's a mental journey, a physical journey, we're all going to change somehow. Right? Maybe we do end up loving ourselves more. Maybe there's something about ourselves that we're not as appreciative about now, but maybe later on we do. Right. Now our body, as we also get older, we're going to change as well, right? Whether that's a That's just an age thing, or maybe we're exercising. So we're always changing.
Right.
And instead of giving you sort of like that one photographer did, saying, hey, this is your pose from now on for the rest of the year, right? I also say, just like clothes, you mentioned clothes as well, there isn't a one pose fits all. And that's a difficult thing of trying to convey through a 30-second to a 60-second like Instagram reel or TikTok. So let's actually stand up together, like how you were showing me that pose, and I'll walk you through this together here.
Sure.
Right, you can still see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna be your mirror.
Okay.
And could you can you actually see yourself clearly or no?
Like I can see the large like part of me, but I can't see like, oh, I know exactly what my face looks like right now.
Okay, good. Because I don't want you to be able to see yourself here.
Okay.
I want you to just focus on me.
Okay.
If you ever get tempted to see yourself, come back to just following me. It's like a dance class, okay?
Okay.
We've talked about the feeling side and then the looking side, right? The feeling when we hand off the phone to Brandon or Sam, and the moment we enter that space where they bring up the camera, now the spotlight is on us. How do we feel typically?
Typically, I feel generally good.
Oh, you do?
I'm confident enough to be like, hey, take my photo. I'm just like, I feel good.
What happens the moment you step into that spot? Do you still are you still feeling good the whole time?
I feel like I need to be humbled in that moment where I'm just like, all right, I get that you're feeling good, but don't feel too good right now. Just be humble about how you feel or about how you look.
Even I feel like that's a little bit different from what I've heard. Like if going back to like the Van Gogh photo, you were telling me you were feeling a little bit uncomfortable in that moment, and that's why we're kind of seeing that sort of like being reflected onto the photo. Is that different?
That Van Gogh photo was also like from a couple of months ago. So like I'm like there's still that comfortability I think is existent that it gets smaller the more I do it.
I see. Yeah. Okay. So this exercise is really to teach you all the things that are possible that we can do with our body for a pose. Okay. And then afterwards, we'll go through really crafting something that you can love. Since I'm your mirror, if I bring this hand up, perfect.
Oh, here, right. Wait,
no.
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna have you, bring the wrist up and bring it down at the same time as me. Beautiful. Okay. We're going to foot out this way. How fun is this? Okay. I'm gonna have you relax this foot a little bit. You should be able to wiggle your knee like that. Perfect. And that will allow us to shift our weight. Yes, you should immediately feel sassy already and fabulous.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. From there, let's go this hand. Follow me. Do we have pockets in the pants?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, lovely. This hand. Perfect. Let's start with the pocket there. Gorgeous. And this one as well. Beautiful. And since this leg is free, I'm going to have you try lifting up that knee. Gorgeous. Bring it in just a little bit. Perfect. And that's it. Let's come back to default over here. Wow, how was that? That was our first pose that we kind of we were using to synchronize ourselves.
Yeah, I like
Pretty
that.
Good? Yeah. Okay, I'd give you a big high five if you were here in person.
Air high five.
Air high five, yes. Okay. Actually, let me walk you through what I call my 7 posing points. Essentially what this is, Emily, if you were to change any of these 7 posing points, it becomes a new pose. These 7 posing points essentially are going to be our joints, right? Because you have that like that one go-to pose, right? Show me the go-to pose again. There, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, there's nothing else I can do. And then, your auntie is like, Emily, that's your go-to pose. Your family's like, that's your go-to pose. But if we were to, you can just watch me for this one. If we were to change one posing point, which is, it can be right here. It can be right over here.
Oh,
those are 3 poses right there already. But in our mind, it's also, we have to redefine what posing means. Oh my gosh, you look absolutely stunning there. right?
Yeah.
And hopefully that feels good too. Hopefully that feels good too, right?
Yeah.
And if you've studied my Instagram enough, I always say posing is a way of communicating with our bodies,
Yes.
right? And I want posing to be as accessible as possible. And if we see it that way, we've truly been posing our entire lives because we communicate with our bodies without us even knowing. We have to. It's almost, I believe it makes up 70 to 80% of our communication. Changing all of those things makes it a new pose. I think in our mind, we've been taught a pose is this thing that we have to get into. So for it to be, like the high school photos, Asian family photos, right?
Yeah.
Right. You got to get your back straight, and that's what we're taught. So we're thinking, okay, in our minds, we're like, we have one go-to pose. Let me learn one more. And then, maybe I'll have three poses in my pocket, right? And then they're like from this to this to this. But no, it really isn't. We just need to change one little thing, and I'll take you through these 7 posing points. Okay. So let's go to default right here. Just relax at the shoulder, hands by the side, feet just firmly planted, and we're gonna work from the bottom up.
Okay.
The first posing point is our ankle and our foot. Right, and you got a little example and a little taste of this, Emily. So what can we change here? We can go for, right now we're on a sort of closer footing, right? We can also go for a wider. Okay, there we go. It's like a power stance, right? It's like we're doing like a rock and roll, like, yes, right? And then let's go back to closer over here. We can go for what we did earlier, right over here. Beautiful. We can uncross it again. We can also bring it back just a little bit.
Oh, back.
Yes. Look at you. And then go back to the front here. And then we can also start rotating with our feet too, right?
Right, because like the 45, right?
Right.
Right.
And there's so many, then we're like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. There's so many things. You can literally do that go-to pose here, turn around. That's essentially it's a new pose. It's a different angle of you, Emily. Yes, for sure. It all, like, it shapes your body differently. It makes you feel different too, right? Going back to feeling and seeing, it all does a different thing, right? So now we sort of activated our feet and ankles. We went from the wide, we have the wide one, we have the crossover, we have the other crossover, right? We have both feet. And then from there, we can even take a step forward just a little bit more if we want to. Oh my gosh, that elongates your legs so much too. And then if we go to the side just a little bit, if we go for a little staggered, not so much aligned together, but like that, then we can also sort of like start rocking back and forth as if we're taking a walk forward.
Right.
And all we did there, Emily, is literally just the feet. We didn't even use our hands. And I feel like the most, the thing I hear the most is, David, what do I do with my hands? I'm like, bro, you didn't even rock your foundation. We didn't even set up our foundation, and you're just talking about what do I do with my hands, right? And we just did a million poses just with our legs.
Yeah, I think honestly that's probably the main, like, I feel like I know what to do with my hands. It's literally just the way I stand. It's the posture of like your feet. That's really the crux of everything. If the foundation's not good,
Yes, it sets the tone for everything else.
Right.
It really, really does. Like I said, let's go to the power stance one more time. That sets the tone because you feel a lot different from going from there to, let's go for the crossover one more time, to there. Right? It feels different, and that sort of guide the rest of our body on what to do. If I'm over here, I might go for something a little bit more dainty. If I'm going for a power stance, I might go for something more powerful at the top. Maybe even like rock star. Maybe, like, I don't care what it looks like, but in feeling wise, I want to go like big power.
Right.
You know what I mean? The second posing point is our knees. Right? The knees, let's see. How do we move the knees? Oh, like earlier on, we did a little taste of that too, right? If we shift our weight, then we activate our knee, the one knee, right? So let's go, like you're doing already. Try turning it in just a little bit. Beautiful. And then towards the center. And then out as well. Gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Like I feel like this is a good, If I were
Isn't
wearing
that cool?
Like, skin tight, like
I
think it would look real nice.
And Emily, this is the exciting thing. Like, this is the part that makes portrait taking, photo taking, and like self portraits, all that stuff, selfies, empowering, because you get to express yourself creatively, right? No longer is it, oh yeah, just let's do it for the memories. Now it's almost like it's like art. It's like painting.
Right.
You get to choose. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, like what am I wearing? You're deciding all these things. You're saying, oh, this is how I want to be portrayed. This is how I want to create my art. You're thinking of, ooh, yes, if I'm wearing something tighter where I can really show off my figure, then I want to do that. And it's gonna show off that beautiful angle. And that's the part that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I love that. I just wanted to note it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the knees. And then we have our hip. So important. Super important. Okay, let's go to like a medium stance here, where we can activate that knee one more time. And when we do that, I already saw the weight shift just a little bit, but I'm gonna have you really kick that hip out. You gotta be more fabulous than me. Yes. And look at you. I didn't even ask you to do this, and you're already feeling yourself.
I got you. I watch all of your TikToks and reels.
Yes,
I got
Queen.
you.
Yes.
Sink
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. When you do that, you start feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know how when we feel shy and nervous, if I asked you, and this is great because you perform, if I asked you to portray a shy, nervous character, what does that look like in terms of body language?
It's a lot of just like it's crumpled in and it's like just
Yes.
downcast, you know? It's just
right.
Like, yeah.
Yes. And it's so interesting, like the psychology of this. Look at you, it's amazing. When we feel nervous and shy, it affects our body and our movement and how we present ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And something I didn't realize, something I learned in college, is that the opposite can do the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're feeling like this, I learned it in my public speaking class. Our professor would say, hey, if you're feeling nervous, 5 minutes before your speech, go to the bathroom in front of the mirror and do these like power poses for like 30 seconds.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she was saying, yeah, I'm sure you know this as well.
Yeah, it's completely why my neutral sit, like when I'm thinking or when I'm standing, my neutral pose is literally this.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So you know it. You know how your body can influence how we think, which is amazing, right? It affects how we think and feel. And just like that, that's exactly what just happened. When you slowly started following me, you just started feeling. Yes. Another additional thing from there, when we kick the hip out, and if we're really kicking it out, you're already doing it perfect. But we don't want to tip over.
Right.
We really want to, I think maybe you know this already, because it seems like you really studied my stuff. Really imagine that shoulder getting closer to this hip point. Right. Yes.
Sink. Yeah.
Yes. Stunning. And what's happening is this shoulder line right now, I'm at neutral. If we connect the two dots, it's pretty straight. Right. But if we think about bringing that shoulder point to that hip point, now that line has changed. It's diagonal.
Yes.
So you're looking absolutely stunning right now. Yes. Super, super important. Okay, let's go back to neutral over here. So we had the ankle, the knee, the hips. Now we're gonna go to our shoulder, right? Yes. Let's actually continue building onto that pose, that stunning pose that we already had. Let's a little bit medium stance here. Mm-hmm. Kick the hip out. Really work that knee and the shoulder. I mean, we already kind of use the shoulder here, right?
Right.
Something else we can do with our shoulder here is we could work this shoulder forward just a little bit.
Right.
Love. We could also move it back if we want to.
Oh,
beautiful.
Okay.
There's so many things we can do. Come back to, come right over here. Yes. Beautiful. So for me, I have my thumb towards you.
Okay.
Right. So from here, we can work this shoulder forward if we want. Mm-hmm. Yes. I love how you brought your chin towards that shoulder. You really have been watching my stuff too much, huh?
I spent many a late night just like dipping.
See, that feels amazing. And that's another little tip to take away. it's always a good idea to bring your chin towards whatever shoulder is towards the front. Okay. Lovely. Okay. And then let's try working the other shoulder forward just a touch, just a little bit. Love. And bring your chin towards that shoulder. Gorgeous. Love. Yes, look at that too. And you can do that. You can follow that along too.
Oh yeah.
Gorgeous. Yes. And work that shoulder just a little bit more. Chin down just a little bit too here. Gorgeous. By doing this, we went through the shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist. Right? We're using the elbow, we're using the wrist to create those beautiful dynamic shapes. Right? And then what can we, let's say, Emily, okay, let's change our elbow. Okay. Could you possibly show me how you would change your elbow?
I feel like honestly, just having this kind of like just bringing it in maybe could be
That's stunning. That's stunning.
Oh, so,
yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, if you ever get stuck, all you need to think is, okay, can I change an elbow? Yeah, we brought it here. I mean, we're not even thinking about whether it looks good right now or not. Like, we're just thinking critically, like, what can we write? And I mean, we can even bring it up here if you want to.
Oh yeah, just
right. And then, oh my gosh, look at that. You can even go dramatic over here if you wanted to.
I've done too much.
Oh my gosh. Right? You could go towards the back of your head as if you're scratching the back of your head. Oh my gosh, and you're fixing your hair. If you have earrings on, you can go for a little earring touch.
Oh, I do. Hello.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
You could even go for your lovely necklace touch if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? See, we literally went through 5 poses just changing this. We didn't even change the foundation. Right? Even that straight arm here looks stunning right now.
Oh, thank you.
Right? Like, if we actually think about it, this isn't that much further off from your go-to pose, but there's a stark difference from the way you're presenting yourself.
Right.
Technically speaking, there isn't the biggest difference. You are working all these joints more, but then it's the fact that you're doing everything intentionally that's changing your whole presentation, how you're holding yourself, and it changes how you feel, and it also affects how it shows.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I feel that. And
yes.
Also just like moving and dragging the attention of like, okay, the attention's now, everything else is set. Move your attention to the smaller.
Yes. And that's the thing. And then hopefully that brings more confidence and comfort when you're being photographed. You say, hey, oh my gosh, there's always a lot of pressure. Like even me, as I do this, like if I'm in the middle of like crowded people, I still get pressured when someone brings up the camera, even if it was me asking my friend. But again, if we bring it back to ourselves and say, okay, what's the little thing that I can change, right? Then we bring more peace to ourselves. We start controlling our bubble and space a little bit more. You know, when we're outside, our bubble might feel like this. We're like, oh my gosh. But once we start going back to, now we have a foundation. We almost have like this little skill set. When we just go back to, okay, 7 posing points, what little thing can I change? Then we start being more in control of the situation. And then we feel good, we feel more comfortable, and it all reflects in the photos.
Yes.
Right? The last posing point, we went to 6, and the last one is the neck and the chin, right? And we did a little bit more of this again. We kind of sampled it too. I said, bring your chin towards the shoulder, right? And I'm gonna go through this with you kind of quick, because I want to, I feel like we're having a lot of progress through like posing our body. And I know you're a lot more confident with your selfie, but I still want to go through this. You might have seen this, the 9 angles for your head. Have you seen that one?
I think I'm not sure if I've seen that one or I've heard of it. I think I've heard of it in like sketching or something. I have artist friends and they show me these stuff, but I'm not familiar with it on myself.
Right.
You know?
Right. Also, don't move. Do not move. Go back to exactly what. No. Go back to exactly what you were doing.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yes. By the way, you look stunning. I just want to say you look stunning.
Thank you.
Right. And here's again. This is why I tell you this, because I see everything. That is how you move. I didn't ask you to pose that way. You naturally said, "Oh yeah. Let me think real quick." You look stunning that way because that's natural for you,
Right.
right? So already like you've started taking your sort of posing foundation that you have now, and you can now see how integrating the setting around you now opens up even more to what you can do with posing.
Oh yeah.
Isn't
Okay.
that, I feel like that's like a whole Jimmy Neutron like moment right there.
Brain blast, yeah.
Yes, brain blast. You look absolutely stunning. Okay, where were we? All right, let me quickly go through the 9 angles with you for posing our face, right? So we're gonna do this right here. The body can just be at default. I'm gonna have you bring, so don't do this with your arm. I'm just gonna be guiding you, okay? So we're gonna go bring our chin towards the side just a little bit. Bring your nose around, lovely. We're just gonna swivel side to side, it's like a pan, right? Back to the front. Beautiful. I'm gonna get just a little bit closer for you. I'm gonna have you now go this way, all the way around. Perfect. Eyes still on me this time as much as you can. And bring it back towards me. Gorgeous. From here, I'm gonna have you bring your chin out just a little bit towards me. This is the weirdest one. So from the side, it looks like this, but that really helps us define our beautiful jawline.
Oh, really?
Yes. And especially this is like the #1 technique that everyone can use, and everyone will be amazing for every single person. Whether you're trying to hide some double chins or you're trying to show off your jawline more, like this literally like without any exclusions, this works for every single person. And I ask everyone to do this. Technically, what's happening is right now the light is coming from above for you, right?
Yeah.
Do you see the shadow that's underneath your neck? Slightly? Oh, because you can't see it, right?
Yeah, sorry.
So can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the shadow that's underneath my neck?
Yeah,
slightly. Okay. If I were to go like this, is there less shadow on my neck? Technically, there should be less shadow.
Yeah,
there should be more light on there,
yeah.
right? Okay. So what's happening? And hopefully, I can't see myself either. So hopefully, what I'm gonna say is gonna work. So pay attention to the shadow over here underneath my neck. If I bring it forward, it should get darker. I'm gonna start bringing it forward right now.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see a little bit of a darkness there.
Right. So what's happening is pretty much our neck is being covered because our face is coming forward, and the shading gets darker there, which essentially is yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's doing. So
yeah, that makes sense.
We had to pan to this side, follow me again, and then we had to pan to the other side, right? Bring it back towards the middle. I'm gonna have you chin out just a touch towards me. And then we have chin down just a little bit, still looking at me. And then back to center. And then we have chin up just a little bit, still looking at me, back to center. From there, we also have our tilts. So we're gonna go tilt this way. Beautiful. And then we can mix some elements here, Emily. We're gonna keep that tilt, bring the nose down, still looking at me, bring the nose down like this towards me. Love. We can also chin up just a little bit. Love. Back to center. And then we also have our tilt on this side. Gorgeous. Chin out just a touch towards me. And then chin down just a little bit. Bring the nose down just a little bit. Gorgeous. Eyes still on me. Beautiful. And back to center. So let's say we did all the posing here. Again, doing all these things. One pose, another pose, right? I'm gonna have you watch me here. Coming back to how all of this translates to body language, and then in turn, how we communicate with our body, right? If I were at a bar and I was looking at you, right? Let's say I was looking at you like this. I really want you to see how the different chin tilt makes you feel, okay? If I were to look at you here, okay, I just want you to soak that in. I'll be like, hey, Em.
Hey.
And then there's also over here, hey, Em.
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
to me, if I'm over here,
Mm-hmm.
I feel a little bit more, it almost feels a little like overconfident for me. I'm like, what's up? Like, hey,
Yeah.
right? But if I'm over here, I almost feel a little like flirty. This feels like, oh, hey, Em,
Yeah. Just like, wait, what's up? You know?
right?
Yeah.
So, like, even without talking about posing anything underneath, we can speak so much with just these tilts.
Yeah.
So, very important to know. I think many times when we grow up again, when we're used to just like 1, 2, 3 smile, we're all we know is like, oh, we have that one look. Like there's a camera, we face the camera. But
Mm-hmm.
we forget you can do this maybe one more time, come around a little bit this way. And that's a beautiful angle. Oh my gosh, you looking at the ground there too. You look absolutely stunning. Yes. I want you to, okay, don't move, don't move. Let's do hands in the pocket one more time. Can you kick your hip out just a little bit towards that wall?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Kick the booty back just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, beautiful. Looking at the ground one more time. Gorgeous, don't move. I'm gonna get a quick photo for you. Love, eyes on me. Yes, queen, work that shoulder just a little bit. Beautiful. Love, back to me. Gorgeous. Okay, let's see here. Checking in with you right now. How do you feel so far?
I feel really good. You know, it's just like it's been like it's nice to not just go to like this, you know, just mom at the picnic. You know, I hated that so much. I was like, this is the one I got. I feel like I have
Yes.
options now. And I feel like I also feel like there's a lot of like you put it in terms that I understand, like
Yeah.
with the joints and stuff, because you know, as a teacher, I also conduct. Like
Right.
I conduct an orchestra and communicating with through my body, like everything you've been saying, I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. It's just like music. It's just like music. You communicate through your hands when you conduct, and it's the same thing. You use the same joints in the arms, at least when you conduct too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, I'm gonna send you this real quick.
Okay.
Before you see it, remember, this is just a photo of me taking it through a computer where you almost like that was a pose that you did. And take a look.
Oh my gosh. I love. Holy crap.
Doesn't
That's
that look
me.
amazing? That's you
That's
feeling good.
me.
That's you
Yeah.
100% feeling good after going through a whole bunch of exercises and you feeling natural in your element because that's how you naturally communicate with your body and then applying a little bit of the stuff that we learned.
Right.
That's
Oh,
already how amazing you look.
thank you.
Isn't
Oh,
that
thank you for
incredible?
helping me find that.
Yes. And, you know, of course, I would love to be in your pocket as a little David as much as I can to help you through every single photo moment, but I can't, right? So
Right.
again, I want to give you the tools so that when you are in these situations, when you feel alone, when you feel like there's a whole spotlight on you, you can still pull up everything that you took away from today and say, you know what? Let me walk through these things. You know
Right.
what? Posing isn't what I've always been like taught it to be. Posing is just naturally moving my body. And the
Yeah.
more comfortable I can get, the more I get to see more of that photo I just sent you,
Yeah.
that version of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the feeling, right? I
Mm-hmm.
want to touch a little bit on the seeing part too,
Right.
because not every time, I can like, just because I'm feeling super comfortable lounged back on a couch
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean it looks good, right?
Right.
Because then I could be super comfortable and like, oh my gosh, yes, I feel comfortable. But if someone just photographing me down from down here, all I'm gonna be seeing might be my double chin, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
like it doesn't always translate,
Mm-hmm.
but at least we know that hey, yes, feeling comfortable and confident does translate to a certain bit. But
Right.
the part we can now start adding more finesse to it is a little bit more knowledge on what translates to the seeing part truly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the part where it becomes more introspective, more fine-tuned to you. And then the more self-aware you are, the more you can really start tailoring these poses for you, right?
Right.
So a really good concept to know. This part is a little bit more to do with like photography and camera lenses, right?
Right.
So if I were to have my hand right next to me, right? My hand is the same shape, sort of same size as my face. But if I bring it closer to the camera, I can't really see myself, but essentially it should look larger than my face, right?
Yeah, it's angling and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's just the perspective, and that's what happens. And of course, in this extreme scenario, we can see that, right? But that same technicality comes into play, even if I were to do a little tilt like this towards the camera, right? I'm gonna have you, whenever someone's taking a photo of you or you're taking a selfie, whenever someone's taking a photo or there's a camera, imagine out of this lens, there's a big like wall that's coming towards you, right? If I'm taking an angle from down here, this wall is coming at me like this, right?
Right.
The first thing that wall is hitting is my chin, right?
Okay. And that's why all the TikToks are saying like, oh yeah, do it from up. So that way, okay, that makes sense.
But here's the thing. This is the part where I don't like those TikToks, right? Because it's almost like fast fashion. Them saying, oh, here, it's trendy right now, so it should look cool on everybody. No, it doesn't. But like we have to know why. The thing is, this could look good for someone, and this could look better for someone.
Right.
But you have to know why, and then use the critical thinking to say, hey, and then put it against your sort of self-awareness and say, which one is better for me?
Yeah.
Okay? So for me, actually, if this plane is hitting my chin first, what it's doing is saying that this is being emphasized, and it also does look larger.
Right.
Right. So for me, I've learned to actually really start loving my sharper jaw. It actually was a insecurity growing up. I would have a very like narrow and tall face. I used to be very like scrawny. So I would really like have this like banana shape of a face figure. And for a long time, that was a pain point of mine. But recently, and this is where again, our journey of our mental sort of self-love and our physical self-love has a play. I've recently started to really feel empowered about my sharper jawline. So for me, taking it from down here, actually, I love those photos because I also love my lips. And I've also noticed like that's what people notice in those photos. I think I posted like a car selfie earlier on like last month, and I took one like from down here, and then people were like, oh my gosh, the lips, oh my gosh, the jawline, right? Because it makes sense. That's what if you think of it that way, it's super natural. Whatever hits the camera first, we want to show off. That's being highlighted, right? So why do these TikTokers say this is such a great angle, right? It is a great angle because the first thing that's being hit is our forehead, but more so than the forehead is our eyes.
Yeah.
So already that instant connection to the lens and the eye makes it a little bit more intimate. There's a stronger connection right away. And that could be one of the reasons why people love that angle so much.
Right.
Another reason, so we talked about what's closer is being highlighted. Now we can also say what's further away is not being highlighted, right? What's closer appears larger. What's further away looks smaller. So if, let's say, someone wasn't a big fan of their jaw, right? Then you could also, instead of putting it first, you can put it second.
Right.
And that's also going to create sort of a slimming effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's the exact angle I took that one selfie in. So that makes sense. It hits that. I like emphasizing the apples of like my cheeks here.
Yes. Oh my God.
And then I think that's the reason why I always did it from like right there. Because then it just has that, especially in the natural sunlight, it just has that natural highlight. And then
oh my gosh, yes. But now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know why.
Love
Yes.
it.
Oh my gosh. And Emily, here's the thing. Now that applies to your posing as well when you're doing these full body pictures, right? So stand up with me again.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you this time. Could you either put us into like a split screen? Is that possible?
Yeah, I can set it back. Hold on.
Yeah. Maybe like 20 minutes ago when we were working through 7 posing points, one of them I was like, oh my gosh, Emily, your legs look so long, right?
I think this like.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like that kind of.
Right. If we put 1 and 2 together, right? David said, whatever is closer towards the camera, we're emphasizing more, right? It appears larger. And like appearing larger isn't like really the technical way to put it. That's why I keep coming back to it's what we're emphasizing.
Right.
Because the foot is first, it truly is elongating our leg. Let's say from here too, let's bring it back to the default. Let's say we wanted to emphasize our booty, right? Like I do with all my quack photos, right? And that's why, and that's why I do like, if I want to emphasize my booty, what am I gonna do? Essentially I could do this towards the camera, right? But one way is to also raise our leg and really bring that booty towards the camera, right? Yeah. So something that a lot of my plus size clients bring up to me is, David, I'm not the most confident or comfortable with my midsection, right? So something I would do is let's go into our default position, or actually the similar pose that we built earlier on, right? Let's go on the tippy toe here, perfect, and then kicking on our hip here, right? If we go with that same principle, and if we're feeling a little bit shy about our midsection, what do we want to change? This is a quiz for you.
Yeah, it's probably emphasizing a different area by moving one part forward, honestly, probably bringing the torso, the upper part.
Oh my gosh, yes. Look at you. And then remember when I also said bring your booty back just a little bit? You just did it. It's lovely. Bring the booty back just a little bit, right? And that's doing 2 things. It's bringing the booty back, and it's also emphasizing your top portion just a little bit more.
Yeah, rather than the mid. Yeah.
Yes. Another thing you did here, now this changes just like also what we can do. We can also, if you can, we have different like limb lengths. So see if this works. But could you place your hand here like to a point where you can kind of lean on that? Is that possible? Right? Yeah. Then what I can also do is work that shoulder while like leaning on this. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. And then move this elbow out just a little bit so we can see that shape too. Love. While working this shoulder here as well. There we go. And back to center. Woo! Yes. Yes. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So this is the part which is really tough for me to teach on Instagram Reel and TikTok. I wish through the 30 to 60 seconds, I can teach someone this whole like 101 of how to pose for yourself. So you can diagnose yourself, and wherever you are in your self-love journey, no matter where you are, you can still find a beautiful pose for you. It's really tough for me to do that, right? Because everything's so nuanced, right? So if I have a client who, let's say they do want to create a little bit more curves, maybe I want to bring the hip towards the camera. But I have a client who says, David, I'm a little shy about my hips. Then maybe I'll bring it away from the camera. Right?
Right. But still, and it creates that shape and that's still through.
Yes, but it still does. And now you're activating this leg. So you can put it towards the camera if you want to elongate. You can create more shapes over here. Right? Or you can just have it over here.
Right. Love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. One last thing.
Okay.
Using your environment. I always get so passionate about this. Using your environment. Right. I'm gonna have you stand up for me one more time.
Of course.
I'm gonna have you, like, this is what I call the posing tools. Anything that is going to help us in the environment, that's going to help us pose. So last time we very naturally identified the wall.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, yes. We can go for an elbow lean, a hand lean, a forearm lean. We can also lean with our shoulder instead, just like this if we wanted to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's lean with our shoulder. Beautiful. And then we can separate away from the body. I like to personally kick our hip away from the body, because then we don't want to just like squish in towards the wall like this. We want to still separate away from the wall just to touch. Yes, beautiful, right?
Yeah,
so what these posing tools allow us to do is feel more comfortable, right? The last thing we want to do is just be in the middle of nowhere and then be like, oh my gosh, what do I do, right? Yes, exactly. So, when we're just quickly getting into, it's like diving into like cold water, right? It's like boom, if we just start posing in the middle of nowhere. So if we're like, oh my gosh, I need to take a quick outfit photo, what you want to do is identify these posing tools and then start utilizing them first, so you can start getting warmed up, feel good, comfortable. How many times in our lives do you think we leaned on a wall, right? It's so comfortable to us. It's like natural, right? What you can do is also lean with like your booty, right? So you can start rotating.
Yeah. Just
right?
kind of like,
and you can lean. Yes, you can lean that way too.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then let's see, what else do we have? We have, of course, we have the staircase. And of course, we can take a seat. But even before that, we have that little crevice before the staircase, like a little ledge, right?
Yeah.
And you can either like just go for a lean there. Yes. Oh my gosh, love. Woo. Okay. Hold on. And then could you lean like this? Yes, perfect. I'm gonna have you sink into that shoulder just a little bit for me. Love. Bring your chin out a little bit towards me. Gorgeous. Chin down to the touch. Beautiful. Eyes on me here. I'm gonna take this photo for you again. Hi, baby. You're gonna be in the photo too. Eyes on me here. Gorgeous. Head to a little bit this way.
Did that?
Oh, no, the other way. Beautiful. Love. I'm gonna have you bring this arm up just a little bit and then tuck that elbow in just a little bit. Gorgeous. You see yourself, right?
Oh yeah, I like this shape.
You look stunning. Let's do one on the stairs for good measures.
Okay.
This one, I'm gonna leave it up to you.
All right. Want to elongate one of the legs there. How do I like this backward.
Ooh.
I like this backward thing, and then have this cross forward.
Beautiful. There you go. Okay. From here, what I might change just a little bit is perhaps, can you just go for a lean instead here with your elbow? Love. Does that feel a little bit more comfortable than
that feels a lot more natural? Yeah.
Perfect. Can I have you get as comfortable as possible without looking at yourself? Let's say we're just like really just, ooh. See, now this, you're first comfortable, but it's very different from the one that you were more so constructing by looking at yourself.
Right.
It has a different feel, right? It's so much more powerful, right? And you started doing something there with your shoulders that actually now starts shifting that spectrum towards a little bit more soft, right?
Yeah.
You started working your shoulders, and you can see, hopefully through your own screen too, how that changes your communication here as well. Look at that, right?
Yeah.
Just by changing the shoulders. Love, right? From there, let's bring this leg down off to the floor level. Perfect.
I'll do the other way. That's better.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Could you sit on the edge of the seat as much as possible?
Oh yeah.
Love. Okay. Is this possible? Could you go for a crossover here over the knee?
Like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then turn a little bit this way. With your leg as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love. And then could you go for that elbow lean over here? Beautiful. And this hand can just go for a little drape on your knee or your leg. Gorgeous. Beautiful. And move your leg to the side just a little bit more again this way.
Mm-hmm.
That's possible.
Yeah.
There you go. And that's another little pose, right?
I love, yeah.
Our goal today was to be more confident, to feel more comfortable in front of the camera. Do you feel like we got there?
I definitely feel like that, yeah.
Yes, look at you. The thing that we didn't touch on today is how the camera and like the photographer can affect the photo, right? We talked a little bit about this whole thing of this and, you know, going from the feeling and now connecting like the seeing, right? Depending on who's taking our photo, like it could come out very different. I could be in the most glamorous pose, and I want to get a like full like outfit photo with my like my legs elongated and stuff. But if someone takes a photo, if a baby takes a photo from way down low like this,
right,
then like my pose doesn't matter, right?
Right.
So to me, when I'm being, let's say, just the model, right? The only thing I can control is how I feel and doing the best I can, knowing and being self-aware of my body and knowing what feels good to me. Because again, Brandon can be photographing from up here, Sam can be from here, from the side, and all this stuff that we can't control. Right. But at least as the model, at least we felt good. And we know that we did the best of our ability and we're gonna be an absolute queen no matter what. And if we do end up seeing a photo that's like, it's not that great, then it's the photographer's fault. Right. 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 And I think that's a healthy way to know, because, you know, too many times it's so closely tied. A picture of us feels like an actual reflection of us. Right. Right. But we have to know that it's an art form. So whenever we might be feeling some negative words in our head, when we do see a photo of us, we have to say, hey, it's the photographer's fault. Yeah, hopefully you can take some of these and feel like a queen throughout the next photos you ask Brandon and Sam to take. Yeah. And I think we've already seen such a huge transformation today. Yeah, thank you so much for that. I really needed this, and I appreciate you so much and all of your videos. They're amazing. Yes! Oh my gosh. I hope you feel amazing. Take a lot of photos. It's still gonna be a long journey. Okay? Right. But it's the small wins. I hope you take the small wins and say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Encourage yourself more, love yourself more, show yourself a lot of patience. And I'm really excited for your whole journey ahead. Yeah. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it. Thank you, Emily. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Emily. Okay. Have a great day. Take lots of photos. Tag me. Definitely. We'll do. All right. Have a good one. Bye.